Wolves 1, Manchester United 4. A really professional performance by Manchester United in the end. And 3 points that were absolutely needed. We really, really needed 3 points there tonight. And it brings us up to 6th place in the Premier League. So it's a lot of positives to take from the game. And there are positives to take. There are some negatives, and we will get into them as well. But there are absolutely more positives than there are negatives in relation to that result. I think first and foremost, I think over a 90-minute period, I think, like I said, it was a professional performance by United. Now, the concern is, and we mentioned it in the live chat, the concern is that lull in the middle of the first half. It really is, because against a better team, you're going to get punished because you drop off and United get the first goal. And look, it's a goal that was absolutely put on a silver platter to us. You know, Casemiro does well, and he presses the Wolves defender. The Wolves defender can't make up his mind. Do I pass it back? Do I hold on to it? And look, long story short, it breaks to Cunha. How Cunha didn't take a shot, I'll never know, because he's got a one-on-one shot with the goalkeeper, but he plays it to Bruno, plays it slightly behind him. Bruno slips, but the power for Bruno to hold off the defender then was really impressive. He takes a shot, keeper gets a touch on it, but it goes into the net. An absolute calamity of a goal. And it's handed to Manchester United on a silver plate, but then you're going, right, look, we're playing well here. Go and take advantage. Go and get the second goal and be proactive. But we didn't. We sat back a little bit. We got timid. We allowed Wolves back into the game. And now United still had chances, and I think we should have been 4-0 up at half-time. Delors went in one-on-one, really, really good chance. Buemo had a chance in the first half as well, where he went in, and it was, I think he took a shot, then Cunha took a shot, and then Ahmad hits it wide. So we could have easily been 3 or 4-0 up at half-time. But on the break, or on the brink of half-time, you're allowing Wolves back into the game with a goal. Now, the worst was feared, because Manchester United, you know, in the past few weeks, when they do concede, their heads drop. They go out of the game. They're timid. They're, oh no, here we go again. We're not going to win. We haven't got the mentality to go again. But whatever Ruben Amorim said at half-time absolutely worked a treat, because United came out 100 miles an hour in the second half and deservedly went 2-1 up. After 51 minutes, so 6 minutes into the second half. Bryan Mbeumo, we spoke about Mbeumo in the first half, and he wasn't good. He didn't. Now, his positioning and getting into the areas and getting into goal scoring opportunities was good. He was there. He was in the right places, but his touch was letting him down. His decision making was letting him down. You know, he was running the ball a little bit too far ahead of himself and allowing defenders to nip it off of him. But in terms of getting into the right areas, he was good. And in the second half, he got his reward for doing that. Look, it was a really well-worked goal through, and it was a lovely little, just slightly weighted ball by Delors into his path. He was in the right area, and he slots it home. And that'll give him great confidence. It really will, because he's had such a great start, and he had a bit of a dip in the last couple of games. I'm delighted to see him get a goal. The third goal for United, and we're talking about, right, go and get the third goal now. Go and get the third goal. And United really wanted it, in fairness. All the credit here is to Bruno Fernandes. He starts the initial attack, gets it on the overlap to Ahmad. Ahmad pulls it back to him. He takes a shot. The ball then drifts out to Mazraoui on the right-hand side. Bruno drops into the little half space, turns on it, and what a brilliant run out of Mason Mount. And Bruno picks him out, just puts it on a sixpence for him, and Mason Mount. And then it's game over. It really, really is game over. And look, there's a penalty at the end. It was a penalty. The shot comes in from Ahmad from a corner on the volley. In my opinion, the ref was really inconsistent today, because the penalty in the first half, or the handball in the first half that wasn't given as a penalty, I think was just as culpable as the one that was given in the second half. But nonetheless, Bruno Fernandes steps up and absolutely buries it in the side net, and keeper goes the right way but can't save it. From an individual standpoint, look, we're after mentioning Bruno. He was my man of the match today. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal, fantastic. The criticism that he receives, I've always said, is unjust. When you look at, you know, and another stat that the BBC put out today was only Salah and De Bruyne have scored and assisted in Premier League games more often than Bruno Fernandes since Bruno made his debut. He has been so consistent for United over the 5 or so years that he's been here, nearly 6 years now, I think. It's been phenomenal. At the back, I thought Aidan Heaven done really, really well. Like I said in the live chat as well, to play such a young player at the centre of a back three, it's a really big responsibility. And look, he got taken off at half time in our previous game against West Ham, and it's probably because he was on a yellow card. Now, he didn't have the greatest of first halves against West Ham, but I thought he was really good today. He defended well, his positioning was good, he never gave the ball away, his passing was absolutely on point. I thought it'll give him great confidence, I think. Luke Shaw on the left of the back three as well, guys, I thought was very good. Made some really, really good challenges. Positionally, he reads the game very well, and it's something that I've been most impressed with about Luke Shaw over the last few weeks, since he, obviously this season he stayed injury free. Playing in that left centre back role is not as exasperating as playing as a left wing back. Now, I mentioned at the start or before the game in my match preview that I wanted Lisandro Martinez to come in there and Luke Shaw to be moved out to left wing back. I think that may eventually happen, but I do think we will see a little bit of a hybrid role for Luke Shaw throughout the remainder of the season when Lisandro Martinez comes back. He can play centre back. He can also play on that left wing back role, but just not consistently. Maybe 1 in 3 games you could see him playing there. In relation to the midfield, then I thought Casemiro had a good game in midfield. Defensively put his tackles in. He didn't get a yellow card, which I'm pretty certain he didn't get a yellow card, which he normally does. So I thought it was a solid performance from him. We mentioned Bruno Fernandes already. Delot on the left-hand side I thought was good. In fairness to him, he made some really, really good runs. He got in one-on-one. And you would want anybody else other than, a fullback to be going in one-on-one with the goalkeeper so early. And in fairness to Sam Johnson, it was a really good save. Now, you put somebody like Cunha or Sesko or Mbuemo or Bruno Fernandes or something, that's 1-0. But I thought he played well. I thought he linked up really well. And, good solid performance for him. Ahmad on the right-hand side, I thought... Look, he's always a threat and he's always in the right positions and he's always looking to go forward with the ball, and I like that about him. But I think his decision making was a little bit off today. I think he overran it a little bit too much. He ran into dangers. He ran down blind alleys nearly, running into 2 or 3 players when he doesn't have support. It wasn't a terrible performance from him, but look, there's definitely room for improvement there. And Mbuemo is next then. Look, again, I mentioned him. Poor first half in my opinion, but got his just rewards for staying in the game and staying doing the right things, trying to get into the right areas, trying to force things and trying to get it to work. And he did that and he got his just reward by getting his goal. So fair play to him. Mason Mount, absolutely fantastic. Very unlucky not to get man of the match in my eyes. Now, obviously, he got it on Sky Sports, and look, he's going to obviously, that's going to be more valuable to him than what my opinion is. But he was fantastic tonight, phenomenal. His pressing from the front when we didn't have possession was brilliant. When we did have the ball, his passing through the lines was brilliant. He broke the press a couple of times in the second half there that really put Wolves on the back foot. He was in around the box. He was a goal threat. He was looking to assist as well. I thought he was phenomenal. And Matheus Cunha then as well. A typical performance from a player who is playing against his old club and wants so desperately to score. He wanted to score so much, and he probably should have. That's why I was so surprised that he actually squared the ball to Bruno for the first goal. I thought he was just going to open it up with his left foot and score. He was desperate for a goal, and he had a few opportunities, but it was one of them games where he was just trying too hard. I think his performance was really good though. His work rate, his energy, he never stopped right up until minute 98 or 97, however long the referee played. He was going, and look, he's a great asset to have. Substitutions then, guys. Lisandro Martinez done well when he came on. Lenny Yoro done really well. Did he have a block or a clearance there at one stage? Patrick Dorgu and Xerxes came on with about 6 minutes to go, and not an awful lot you can say about them. Kobbie Mainoo, I feel so sorry for Kobbie Mainoo. I think he's better than the minutes he's getting, in my opinion. I think you go 3-1 up there. But when did we go 3-1 up? In the 62nd minute. I mean, you could literally bring him on then and give him a good half an hour, but he came on in the 78th minute. Look, he gets 12, maybe he gets about 20 minutes in the end with additional time. He's not fancied by the manager, and I feel really sorry for him because I think I just think he's such a great talent. But nonetheless, it's the manager's decision. Look, 3 points on the board. Manchester United now are up to 6th place in the Premier League. Goal difference for us is +4, which is, look, it's not great, but it's not terrible either. Chelsea are on equal points with us, but they've got a +10 goal difference. Palace are a point ahead of us, they're +8. So look, not a huge amount between it. Like we are only 5 points off of 3rd. We're 6 points off of 2nd, and 6 points we should have got 6 extra points over the last few games with West Ham, Everton, Spurs, Nottingham Forest. We should have got an extra 6 points. We should, by all accounts now, be sitting in 3rd behind Man City on goal difference. We really should. So it just goes to show how tight it is. And I spoke as well about being on the right side of that gap when it forms, in the Premier League, because when we look at it now, there was only maybe 3 or 4 points between 4th and 13th only a couple of weeks ago. You look at 13th now and 4th, there's now 6-7 points there, so the gap is starting to form. Thankfully we're on the right side of it, but we've got to stay on the right side of it over the next few weeks. There are going to be tougher tests ahead. Bournemouth next, then Villa, and then Newcastle. So the next 3 games are going to be difficult games. We've got to put some points on the board. Obviously, we're going to lose in Buemo after the next game, and Ahmad, and so on and so forth. We know all about that. But nonetheless, it's positive tonight, guys. I think Ruben Amorim's decision-making tonight, we've questioned him on his decision-making, his in-game management. I thought it was spot on, in fairness. And I think ultimately he got it right tonight. And whatever he said at half-time, I always say managers earn their money at half-time. And he done that tonight with with his team talk, because we came out like a house on fire in the second half. Let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comment section below. Who's your man of the match? Drop your man of the matches in the comments below. Leaving a comment helps the algorithm out an awful lot. It helps out if you hit the like button. I do appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, do hit that subscribe button. United are up into the European places. It's important that we keep it going now over the next few weeks. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Take it easy.